You're listening to Fire Station FM 101.0.
எரிமலை எப்படி பொறுக்கும்?
தீயினால் சுட்ட பொன் ஆறாது, TFM முடக்கத்து மாறாது.
Have a look outside, low is the tide. Take a walk with me. Things are indicating you ain't contemplating. You don't recognize. Your back is breaking, your head is aching. Things that you don't mind. Things like the waiting that seem temptating. What's your reply? World's not how it used to be. Believe me, trapped in a world that cannot be. Can be real. Playgrounds were never so empty. Don't you see? They don't see time isn't free. You sit on the corner, you think you know her. Through that screen, you held her hand, you walked her home, all in your dreams. You haven't even looked into her eyes. Where have you been? You've got yourself into a world that isn't real. World's not how it used to be. Believe me, trapped in a world that cannot be. Can't be real. Playgrounds were never so empty. Don't you see? They don't see time isn't free. When you're in doubt, you listen out. You're missing out on things. The world is waiting, it's indicating there's no time for hate. So do not hide, to step outside. There's this ride waiting for you. World's not how it used to be. World's not how it used to be. Trapped in a world that cannot be. Trapped in a world that cannot be. Playgrounds were never so empty. Playgrounds were never so empty. They don't see time isn't free.
Welcome back. This is FIRESTATIon 101.0. I'm Shashank. I'm here with Aldrin.
Hi Shashank.
You're a pretty famous musician in this area. Like, you played bands like 83 miles per hour in the past. I want to know about your past, like your background. What led you here?
Basically, I was interested in music since my childhood, and I did everything in school except for studies. Like, any other musician.
Sounds familiar.
That's how it began, and then I picked up music in college as well. I finished off all my grades, and I did a diploma in music after my degree. And in the process, I formed a band, 83 miles per hour, and that was a big break in my musical career. We still are, pretty well known and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's how I built my career. Now the band has disbanded because of obvious reasons. People moved on with their lives and all that. But then, the music still exists. People still listen to our music, and
yeah, definitely, man. Your music is still influential in this scenes, right? So, is there a member of your family that's also musical, or do you owe something to them?
No, none of my family members are musicians. But I've heard that my grandparents used to play a couple of instruments. But I've never heard them play. So that's the only music in the family.
So, like, when did you actually start playing an instrument? At what age?
At the age of 6.
And, like, what did you start with?
I started off with a keyboard, and it was a small plastic keyboard. And then, but my parents realized, okay, you know what? He's able to play tunes. So let's get him a new keyboard, a bigger one. And they got me a little bigger one. It was still not that big. It was still a toy keyboard, but it was bigger than the one I had before. So when I went to my higher secondary, I got a professional keyboard, and then I started learning in that. That's how I learned piano and all that.
Well, but today you play a lot of instruments, right? Could you tell us what all you play?
Okay, not a lot of instruments, but I can play the trumpet. I can play the keyboards. I learned drums a little bit, so I can play drums. I learned tabla, so that's another instrument. And along with keyboard, once you know piano, you can play the keyboard, you can play the harmonium, you can play melodica. Yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Was there like a specific point in your life where you realized, okay, this music isn't just like a hobby for me, this is what I want to do with my life?
It's always been a hobby. I mean, it was a hobby throughout school. But then in my 12th standard, I realized, this is not just a hobby. Maybe I should do music, throughout. And that's when I decided that I will be, I'll become a musician. And that's what I am today.
என்ன மச்சான் ஃபோன் எடுத்தோன்னே ஹலோ சொல்லாம ஹான்னு சொல்ற?
மச்சான் முதுகு ரொம்ப வலிக்குதுடா, நான் கபாலி படத்துக்கு வரலடா.
வலிக்குதுன்னா பாண்டுபாம் யூஸ் பண்றா, இதுக்காண்டி தலைவர் படத்துக்கு வராமலா இருப்ப?
கபாலிடா.
பாண்டுபாம் வாங்குங்க, கபாலி படத்துக்கு டிக்கெட் வெல்லுங்க. You're listening to FIRESTATION FM 101.0.
I heard you went to the Swaminathan Academy of Music, and that's where you got a lot of your jazz influences in your music. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
My jazz influence started off when I was in my first year of college. I was learning a lot of classical music, so jazz was new to me. I used to hear things and I used to love them, and I couldn't play them back, and I couldn't understand them. So that's where I started searching for places to learn jazz. I used to meet up with people who used to know jazz, and I used to interact with them, but that was useful only to quite some extent. So that's how it started. But yes, when I went to Swarnabhumi, then you break things down there. Any music school, you learn from the scratch.
Right.
And there some of my biggest influences were Dario Boante. He's from Argentina. He's a pianist, and he's into Latin music, and also he's into electronic music. So I like the way he blended both. I listen to a lot of bands from South America because the jazz there is really nice.
Like the bossa nova types? Something like that?
Not really. Yeah, the bossa nova types and the modern versions of it.
You're a Navy man. Can you tell us like how you balance that and this at the same time? I mean, must be hard, right?
If you have something in your mind and if you really want to get it, you find a way, basically.
Fair enough, but
Yes.
wow, hats off to you, man. I mean, that must be really difficult though.
It is kind of difficult because you have to you have a 9 to 5 job. Sometimes it gets extended. Sometimes there are additional duties that you have to perform. At the same time, you have to, I like to make my own music. To find time for that, you need to sacrifice something. Sometimes you need to sacrifice your holidays or your sleep. But it's not a big deal because people now, if you look at it, people sleep at 2:00 in the night. They watch movies or they hang out with friends and all that. So I do that as well, but sometimes I cut that down and I spend a couple of hours in music. So
did your family ever try to pressure you out of your career
obviously,
choice?
every Indian parent, I think, they don't want their kids to join an art stream or anything related to art, be it fine arts or music or dance, whatever. See, my sister is a doctor. My mom wanted me to be a doctor as well, and I said yes, and
So did you go to medical school?
no, I did not.
Okay.
Like I said, 12th standard I decided, no
right.
doctor,
Okay.
nothing doing.
Okay.
Only music. But in school, yes, I wanted to become a doctor. In higher secondary, I wanted to become a doctor. But what happened was a lot of my friends chose computer science. So I went with the crowd. Okay. And then so obviously I couldn't become a doctor now. Again, that time there was I think, even today there's a lot of craziness about computer science. People always go for computer science and all that. So I did the same, and then I told my mom that I'll become an engineer. Because all my cousins were all becoming, engineers and all that. They were going abroad. And then in 12th standard, like I told you, I was writing an exam. I was writing my computer science exam. It was a 3-hour paper. It was not the final exam. It was a mock exam. And I couldn't write anything in that. So I thought, that it was a point of realization. I was like, this is not for me. Even if I try working hard, if I get into this, I won't enjoy this because I don't like this. What I enjoy is music. So if I really want to be happy in life, I should do music. The same day I went home, I told my mom. My mom said, okay, you know what, why don't you check out some music colleges in that case?
Well, it's nice that your mom was supportive at that point.
I had to convince her, but that worked out. So it's a little bit of luck and obviously support from parents.
Can you tell us what you're working on now? Any challenges you're facing now with your music?
There is no challenge that I'm facing with music, but yes, I'm working on a new concept, a new album actually. It's called The Land of Apes, because right now I'm posted in a place. I'm posted in Madhya Pradesh, and that it's a natural reserve basically, and they have a lot of animals there, especially monkeys. There
So
are
that's
varieties
your
of monkeys.
inspiration. Okay.
So, and that's how I'm calling my new album, my new EP, The Land of Apes. All the songs that I write, being in Madhya Pradesh, being in that place, will come under, this name called Land of Apes. I can probably I'll probably release 2 to 3 EPs because I'm there for another 2 years, and all will be known as Land of Apes, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. So currently I'm working on the Part 1, and it'll have some 5 songs.
Okay, so do you have a timeline for the release or something?
Not really. There comes the balance between work and music.
Yeah.
Because I can't really fix something because
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll find time. But I estimated things. I came to a conclusion that maybe by September 2016 I'll have 5 songs ready, because my audio engineer in Bangalore, he is also a very busy guy. He's an audio engineer for a couple of bands. He's into film now, so he takes quite some time to get one song done. And me, especially being in MP, and he's in Bangalore. And I get my songs recorded everywhere. If I find an artist, most of my friends basically, I go to them and we have to talk, we decide on a date, find time, record music. And then, for example, there's a song, I record something in my studio. Then I come to Mumbai, I record some parts there. Then I come here, then I record something. Then again I send it to Bangalore. That's like 4 states. That becomes a little difficult, but then yes. September 2017.
And also it'll be like the issue of working in different studios at the same time, something like that happens.
It's not a big issue basically. I keep taking backups, and everybody's using Pro Tools nowadays. So,
Right.
I mean, they have been using Pro Tools.
So can you tell me the inspiration behind what used to be and differences, similarity, your latest new tracks?
Okay, what used to be basically, I was in my office in Mumbai. I was having a good day. I was practicing my music and all that, and I looked out the window and I saw really lovely weather, and then you can really see the shore from my office. And all of a sudden, I just went to the piano and I started playing these set of chords, and it was nice. So I just built upon it, and that's how what used to be happening. And what used to be is basically about how people used to be 30 years back, and how machines have changed people today. So when I looked outside, when I looked at the scenery, how beautiful it was, I really wanted to go outside. I didn't want to be inside the building.
I know what you mean.
So that's what it is about. And difference and similarity is basically my sister's wedding was coming up, and I wanted to gift a song to the couple.
That's nice.
So I wrote a love song down for them, and that's.
Okay, can you give us any words of advice for aspiring Chennai musicians?
I think I've seen Chennai musicians start from the scratch and reach really good levels. So I would suggest just keep working hard, because when you work hard, you will reach heights.
Solid advice. Goes to show in like any form of life, I guess.
Yes.
One final question.
Yes.
Gun to your head. If you had to choose between Honey Singh and Justin Bieber.
Okay. Justin Bieber.
Okay, fair enough. Check
His
out
new album is nice. That's why.
Okay.
Justin
That's a good enough reason for me.
Yeah.
That was Aldrin, guys. Check out his new album, Land of the
Please
Apes,
do.
coming out this September. This is Fire Station. See you.
Since I gave up my dreams, when the good times fade, now I'm more like a machine. We didn't even realize, now we can't even recognize. That's hardly desire, then wide awake on
Ooh,
my mind.
baby, I'm real impatient. 'Cause you show hesitation. Did time do to you what did time do to me?
But this knot can be undone. It's beautifully done.
Beautifully
Though I
done.
wanna break open, I know you are the one. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and in everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. All the time I lay low and you see, I'm on the top floor when I try to secure, curate, momentary.
Hold it, be still, let the silence speak. It's ignorance, baby, I'm weak.
But this knot can be undone.
Can be
It's
undone.
beautifully done.
Beautifully
Though I wanna break open, I know you are the one. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. In everything we see, in everything we hear, there seems to be a difference and similarity. In everything we see, in everything gravity? Is this reality? 'Cause this duality